Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Thursday, February 23rd, and we've got a pretty active period coming up, not only with the storm here coming up over the next 48 hours, but we also have another potential storm we'll be looking at towards the middle of next week as well. If we look at the headlines for today, it looks like plenty of clouds. There could be a few breaks of some sunshine, but overall it'll be a cooler day, but still about 20 degrees above normal. As highs will get into the 50s, maybe low 60s, especially across southeast lower Michigan, where I think there'll be more in the way of sunshine today. So another nice day, at least for parts of the area. And then showers will become more widespread later tonight. Thunderstorms after midnight looks like the best bet. And then we could have some pretty strong storms tomorrow. Could be some severe weather watches issued during the afternoon and evening hours. And again, some of those look like they'd be more favorable towards wind damage. So again, some we'll keep an eye on, and you can see the extended outlook. We're trying to get some cold air to try to move towards the Great Lakes, but still above normal. But it could be a more active period with potentially more snow. Certainly is possible, or more of what we got here the next couple of storms. And slide here from yesterday over at the Country View Golf Course over near Chatham with the LAC outlook. A pretty nice crowd there. And actually, I think my voice was a little better yesterday morning than it is today, but it was a good time, and I want to thank the folks out there for inviting me. And if we look at the normals of the day, our normal high is 34, the normal low is 17. You can see back on this date in 1990, we not only had a record high or record precipitation amount of 0.97, but we also had 6.5 inches of snow, which is the record for the date as well. If we look at the warmest and coldest temperatures across the lower 48, yesterday actually was 98 degrees Wednesday at McAllen, Texas, and the cold spot 6 degrees above zero at Stanley, Idaho. And if we look at conditions around the MAC area yesterday, you can see temperatures into the 60s across much of the area. Actually, Middleton and Clarksville, a high of 64, and the cold spot at Brown City down to 38 degrees. If we look at conditions around the area this morning, you see temperatures in the 50s, but they're falling as a weak cold front pushes through the area. Just did a check, the 47 degrees is now down to 44 at Newaygo in about a half an hour. So the cold air or cooler air will push in, but I think as the day goes on, we see some clouds kind of break up a little bit. I think our temperatures will recover back up to about where they are, at least into the mid 60s or 50s, maybe even low 60s across southeast lower Michigan. And then we'll have that rain moving in for later on tonight. You can see our winds right now, at least across the southeast part of the state, are still out of the south, but you can see where the wind shift out of the west is bringing some of those cooler temperatures into lower Michigan. And of course, you can see our big storm beginning to develop out to the west. And if we look at the satellite view this morning, you can see this is the low pressure system that moved through, and our big storm getting ready to begin to push to the northeast here later on. And that's going to bring some showers and thunderstorms to the area here over the next day and a half or so. And boy, are they going to get a lot of snow up into the upper Midwest. If we look at the radar out there this morning, you can see some of that snow now beginning to break out over the Dakotas. And again, there's going to dump a lot of heavy snow across the eastern portions of South Dakota and North Dakota into Minnesota, Wisconsin, into the UP. Again, some areas, I think right now around the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, or maybe just south of there, could see about 12 to 16 inches of snow. In fact, there are blizzard warnings in effect, and we'll show you that in just a moment. There is a chance, according to the WPC, of a little bit of freezing rain. I just don't see that happening. Maybe as you get a little bit farther north across north central lower Michigan, I do see there are some winter weather advisories. So I think if you're in Isabella, Newaygo County off to the north, something to keep an eye on. But right now I don't expect that to be a big deal, but we'll certainly keep an eye on that. If cold air kind of pushes a little farther south, then it may be a more significant event. But right now I don't think it'll be a big deal. But you can see on this morning's weather map some of the snow beginning to break out. It will become heavy across that area. And then by Friday morning, you can see that low pressure system now coming up into southeast Iowa. The warm front trying to push to the north, and severe thunderstorms will be possible from southern lower Michigan all the way into the Ohio Valley. And very heavy snow will continue to fall across the areas from around northern Iowa into southeast Minnesota, Wisconsin, into the UP. And I expect winter storm watches to be issued for parts of the Upper Peninsula as well. And you can see by Saturday morning, the cold front comes through. A mix of precipitation will be about all that's left across the mid-Michigan area. Again, We don't expect anything much in the way of accumulation. It could dust up the ground a little bit, but overall, again, we'll go into high pressure system and cooler weather over the weekend, and then we're going to watch another system that's going to develop for early next week. And the first system looks like it'll go well south of us, but then a stronger system is going to develop pretty much like this system here, and we could have a very interesting system as we get towards Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. If we look at the precipitation amounts for the first storm here, looks like you can see much of the area is going to have a ½ inch or so across southeast lower Michigan, all the way up to an inch to an inch and a half as you get into portions of northwest lower Michigan. And again, much of this back here will be in the form of snow, mainly rain and thunderstorms for the MAC area. And if we look at the next total precipitation, this includes the first storm, but you can see another system will come through. So when we're all said and done over the next 7 days, very wet, with many locations across northern Michigan picking up over 2 inches of rainfall, with an inch to an inch and a half common across much of southeast lower Michigan. As far as severe weather threat, for mainly tonight, this would be just a general thunderstorm outlook with just a marginal chance for severe weather. But as that storm gets cranking and intensifies, by tomorrow we expect an enhanced chance of severe weather across southeast lower Michigan. So there's a darn good bet that we're going to see some weather watches and some severe activity across the southern part of the state, extended all the way up to a slight risk area, right up to about Saginaw, over towards Grand Rapids and the Holland area. So again, something we're going to want to watch here over the next day or two. As far as the cold part of this storm, a lot of snow is going to get laid down all the way from the Rockies into South Dakota, into Nebraska, northwestern Iowa, southern Minnesota, much of northern Wisconsin into the UP. And many areas can see between 8 to 16 inches with locally heavier amounts. And now on to weather watch this morning, a very busy weather watch. You can see the winter weather advisories for a chance of a little bit of freezing rain, mainly for late tonight, overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning, and then a number of areas of fog. And then for the winter storm watches in the blue area, and winter storm warnings fill in all the way from the Dakotas up into Wisconsin, and a blizzard warning is in effect for parts of southern Minnesota into northwest Iowa and into southwest Wisconsin eventually. And I think we'll see those extended to the northwest here or northeast here over time. So this is going to be a very major storm for much of the upper Midwest, and winter's going to come back. And then of course you can also see blizzard watches. And again, I think some of these blizzard watches and warnings will be extended further to the northwest, as this looks like quite a storm heading up for much of the area. Again, winter's coming back for the upper Midwest. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, and 73s to all.